So this week I started working on the next layer of the coin sorting robot, and I'm pretty happy about the way it turned out, even though I didn't quite have enough time to finalize the design. This layer actually serves two purposes. The first is to allow you to create a stack of pennies that will drop down onto that coin slider that I've been talking about in the last few videos. The other purpose is to hold the top camera at the perfect distance away from the penny so that you can completely fill the frame with the image of the coin. And that allows you to get the highest resolution image of the coin that you can, given the parameters of the camera that we're using. So this is the view of the CoinBot that we've been looking at over the last few weeks. The coin slider here is what actually picks up a penny from a stack, moves it into position over the camera, and then it drops it into the sorter over here. And we've seen how that works over the last few weeks here. But if I pick up a penny, I'll demonstrate that one more time. If I pick up a penny here, you can see that it kind of drops into position there. It rotates it over the camera. And as it moves around to the coin sorting position, it will drop onto that and then into one of the appropriate slots around the outside. The next layer that I've been working on, it looks a little bit like this. And that actually sits on top of this whole thing. And then we can put our prototype here. And then I'm just going to put some pieces of tape on there. I'll do that off camera, 1 second. All right, so off camera, I threw some pieces of tape on here because this is just a prototype of this layer. Like I said, I didn't quite have enough time to finish what I was doing here. But we have this lined up over the bottom camera position there. This larger hole is what actually holds the upper camera into position. And this hole represents the stack of pennies that the coin slider is going to pick up. And if you watch, I will drop some pennies down here to create the stack. And you can see that that forms a nice stack in there. We could probably get a whole roll in there. And one more, just for fun. And then I'm just going to do this manually so you can see this, but as I rotate the coin slider, it's going to pick up a penny from that stack and rotate it into position between these two cameras. And you can see how that works. So that's kind of nice. And then it will keep going, pick up the next penny in the stack. And as this is rotating around, you'll see that this penny gets dropped in the coin sorter. So that's how that works. And you can see that this is now moving pennies from the stack through all of the different positions here. And that is the entire coin stack worked through the CoinBot, moving through all the various positions. And we've shown in the previous videos how the coin sorter works, how the coin slider works, and that is generally how it's going to operate. It will be able to quickly recognize pennies as we go through this. And now this camera should be at the perfect distance to capture the penny. And we'll show you that here on screen in just a second. And we also have the bolt holes lined up. You saw just a few minutes that I rotated all those pennies through the entire position, so there's no pennies left in there. And the two cameras are directly above each other, so they're taking a picture of each other, which is kind of funny right now. But let me put pennies back in here into the coin slot. So we have another stack of pennies in there. And then that's a live camera feed up there. And we're just going to rotate this into position. And when it gets to there, you can see that there's now a penny in position there. And we can actually take an image of both sides of the coin. To see the other side of the coin, I needed to change a parameter for the camera to switch to the other camera. I have to do that manually right now. So you can see that this is actually taking images of both sides of the coin. And it's not perfectly lined up yet, but we're getting close. I'm just happy with the way this is working. We have both cameras working. We have the lighting setup working. The other thing that I wanted to show about this was that I went through a couple of different versions. The trick of this is that in order to hold this camera in position over the coin slider, it needs to be kind of hanging out there in space. And the way that I figured out how to do that was like this. And you can see that this is my first prototype here. But that actually allows the camera to kind of dangle out in space over the coin slider and allows the coin slider to rotate through those positions. So it would go over it like this. And that one wasn't quite set up quite right. So I actually went through a couple of different versions of that. You can see that I created a couple of different prototypes here before I have this one with the funky angle here. So the idea behind this is that we have a flat plate on this angle here, and that will be rotating pennies, a big jumble of pennies that we can drop onto the top of the CoinBot, and it will rotate and actually drop pennies down onto the stack. Once we have a stack of 50, then I'll turn off this rotating mechanism, and the coin slider will continue to sort the pennies like I've talked about before. But this mechanism on the top will actually keep the stack full at all times. But I think that's enough for this video. And as always, if you have feedback for me about how I can build better stacks or camera studios, or even how to make better videos, please leave a comment down below. But for now, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stay awesome.